Well, we have seen some violent attacks, and they are raising terror concerns here at home as conflict with Iran rages in the Middle East. And authorities say an armed, naturalized U.S. citizen from Lebanon attacked a Michigan synagogue yesterday. And this is what really was glaring about it, because when you looked at the live screen yesterday as this was happening, you couldn't tell what was on fire, what had happened. That man drove his truck into the building, hit one security guard before that security guard shot and killed him. So thankful for that. But then the vehicle caught fire. But like a miracle, none of the staff or the 105 young children at the synagogue's child care center was hurt. The FBI describes the attack as a targeted act of violence against the Jewish community. Here is Michigan Senator Elissa Slotkin.
Whether anti-Semitism is coming from the left or the right, whether it's coming from some group that you like or don't like, you have a responsibility to call it out. Because when you don't, it gives permission for people to climb that escalation, that ladder of escalation that goes from saying hateful things online to saying them in person to graffiti to ultimately violence.
It's something that Republicans have been saying with all the open border years under President Biden. They have said it, and now it looks like Democrats, unfortunately, are starting to say that message under pressure. Wow. In Virginia yesterday, the campus of Old Dominion University was also the site of violence. That happened during this hour of the Faulkner Focus. A convicted ISIS supporter shot 3 people, killing 1. He was subdued by several ROTC cadets in training, and boy, they know how to fight. One of them stabbed and killed the gunman. The two attacks in one day highlight the need to fully fund the Department of Homeland Security, nearly 1 month after Democrats began blocking that money. So you heard me bring up politics there. This is why I bring it up. Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy reports from the North Lawn at the White House. Peter.
Harris, we are hearing from experts and officials that an old ISIS playbook has been opened up because terrorists see a very specific opportunity in this environment.
With all the attention since October 23rd in Israel and the war in Iran right now, we are going to see more ISIS-related and inspired attacks. And why is that? Well, propaganda and attention is the coin of the realm in the terror business. And ISIS doesn't want Hamas and Hezbollah getting all the attention. So I think now more than ever, we need to pay attention to these potential lone wolf attacks.
This morning, War Secretary Hegseth didn't seem worried about the law enforcement bulletin warning of Iran's aspirations to attack California with drones because the intel is unverified. There are many other reports the Pentagon does seem more concerned with.
Ultimately, I look at the reports on a daily basis of threat. Our interagencies all over it. My partners across government are all over, looking for indications and warnings, keeping the American people safe. There's a lot of things Iran has said it can do for a long time, thankfully, including engaging their proxies and getting them involved in the fight, which they haven't been able to do. So we're watching that very closely.
Democratic White Houses that predated the Trump administration have dealt with potential Iran attacks as well. But there has never been an American campaign against Iran like Epic Fury.
There's no question that certainly in wake of the attacks on Iran that we've got to focus very keenly on the potential for terrorist attacks here at home.
And to that point, President Trump says that he's been briefed about potential Iran terror suspects here in the United States. He says, though, that the feds have eyes on them. Harris.
Peter Doocy, thank you very much. Additional background information now on the Old Dominion gunman shows. In 2016, he was convicted of providing material support to ISIS. The Justice Department was asking for a 20-year prison sentence for him. He got just 11 years in a prison term and was released fewer than 2 years ago. So he did 7 years instead of a potential 20. A lot of questions as to why that is. We read part of the report on him, and his attorneys at the time had looked at, well, can he get some support for drug addiction? And they wanted 6.5 years. Well, it looks like in the long term, eventually, they almost got their way. He served only 6 months longer than that. In focus, Stuart Kaplan, a former FBI special agent, global security risk management expert, and a criminal defense attorney. So glad you're with me today. First of all, walk me through what it means to have someone who is open, wants to perpetrate a crime like the attack on Fort Hood in Texas, wants to do those sorts of things, and then walks away after 7 years instead of a longer prison sentence. Any thoughts?
Well, a lot of thoughts, and quite frankly, I'm going to pull the Band-Aid off, even though it's going to hurt the probation department, the United States Probation Department. When this individual was released in December of 2024 after serving a very short prison stint, he then automatically goes on what's called supervised release. That supervised release, pursuant to the original sentence, was for 5 years. That means that a United States probation officer would have been assigned to him to monitor him. And I think clearly this incident that unfolded yesterday at Old Dominion College perhaps could have been avoided. It seems to me he got access to a weapon. He wasn't being monitored properly or sufficiently. I don't believe that he just woke up yesterday and decided that this was the particular day he was going to do what he did. There seems to have been some planning or some plotting, and I think there's going to be some accountability here with respect to the United States Probation Department as to why they were asleep at the switch with respect to failing to properly monitor him, and also how this individual, where he got the weapon that unfortunately caused the loss of one individual's life. That first is front and center. And then, of course, look, this is not a political statement. If you're here naturalized as a naturalized citizen, that's a privilege. That's not a matter of right.
That's right.
If you're convicted of assisting or engaging in a terrorist act, it seems to me that you should lose your citizenship right and be shipped back to your country of origin.
You know, and to kind of make a finer point on that, we talk about people being rehabilitated in prison. In your experience, is it almost impossible, or would it have been easy to try to rehabilitate this guy? I know they wanted to put him through an anti-drug program. They wanted to treat whatever drug addiction that his attorneys say he had. And by the way, when you read through the court records, the reports of it, it was never even really shown if he qualified for one of those programs, but they gave him the right to do that. What is your thought? Can we rehabilitate these people in prison? Because it doesn't look like they could with this guy.
Well, unfortunately, and I'll put my criminal defense hat back on, there are programs that are offered through the judicial process, through the Bureau of Prisons, that if, in fact, you sign up for these programs and successfully complete them, it does shave off time. To that point, that's an advantage to an individual who wants to accelerate and get out sooner than later.
All right. Doesn't speak necessarily to the idea of can you rehabilitate somebody who wants to kill Americans in the name of terrorism and ISIS, as he did 2 years after he got out. Good to see you today. Thank you very much for your expertise and your time. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.